Hi, this is Paula from planningforabundance.net, and today we're talking about something that's very close to my heart and very uh, all-consuming at times in my life, and that's chronic illness. And I'm sure a lot of you deal with it, and for those who don't deal with it, they usually don't understand it very much, and it's kind of hard for those of us who are living with it and trying to function every day. And I will be looking at my notes a lot because I have a lot to say about this. Because I think I can encourage some people, but I also just want to educate people. I guess the first time chronic illness came to live with me, and like I said, I didn't understand chronic illness at all before it came to my house. And it came to my house when my daughter, who is now 17, was a year and a half old, and she was diagnosed with asthma and eczema. Those two are autoimmune disorders, and they do go kind of hand in hand. And she struggled with that every day of her life, pretty much. Eczema is just kind of a rash. Nobody knows what causes it, but it creates a rash, mainly like in elbows, behind your knees, on your neck. She has a lot on her back also, but it itches. It itches constantly. And so as a baby, she really didn't sleep till she was about 8 years old, between the asthma, the eczema, and some night terrors that she would have and all, because she itched. And I tried everything. I tried creams. Some of them burned. Some of them didn't burn and just didn't help. It was definitely an exercise in frustration. I have spent more money on creams over my lifetime, and everybody was like, "Oh, she'll grow out of it." No, she has not grown out of it. She's 17 years old, and she still deals with it every day. And as her mom, my job now has been to take the tools in my arsenal of asthma control and eczema and treatments and things, and hand those down to her and teach her how to manage her chronic illnesses. And that took us a while to get used to, but we did. We learned how to live with it and manage it to where it pretty much just became just an everyday part of life. Although some people are like, "What's that?" She's dealt with a lot of, "What is that on your neck? What is that on your elbow? Can I catch it?" And I've had to explain to a lot of people, no, you cannot catch eczema. It's an autoimmune disorder. Can't catch it. There's one chronic illness I've been dealing with all of my life. And a lot of people would say this is not a chronic illness, and I will fight them tooth and nail and tell them, yes, it is. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I've mentioned it before. It's well controlled right now. Got a great doctor, great meds, and but I cannot remember a time I didn't deal with unexplained anxiety. And there's two different kinds of anxiety. There's the kind, when you're worried about that job interview, or you're worried about your bank account or whether the bills are going to get paid or something like that. That's just normal daily stress and anxiety over life. That's different. Those of us with generalized anxiety disorder, or with anxiety disorders, we worry about things that really just aren't based in reality. And it really takes going, taking a hard. It's hard. It's really hard to take a look at yourself and go, this is not normal. I'm not thinking straight. And I need help. But it's also the most important thing you can do in your life is to go, this is not normal. I'm not thinking straight. I need help. And some people, I am very open about it, and some people look at me and they're like, you are nuts, you're crazy, don't talk about that. And they can really kiss my butt. I really don't care what they think. If one person who is dealing with depression or anxiety says, wait a minute, I have that too. You mean I can get help? if one person goes and gets help because I'm open about it, then everybody else can really, that it was worth it. It was worth it, and everybody who thinks I'm dumb for it can kiss my butt. That's my sweet Christian thing to say today. Sorry about that, y'all. That's my thought about it. But yeah, you deal with anxiety every day. Even when you take medicine, there are days that it's just there. If you want to know how to get hurt or be killed doing something, ask me. My brain has thought it up. So I'm constantly learning. I have learned a lot of coping mechanisms, distraction mechanisms. I pray. I am a Christian, and I pray. And after I pray, my show of faith to the Lord is to distract myself because, just because it's because of the disease, it's just going to keep circling back through my head and all. And so every time it does, I treat these thoughts as though they are trash and that they belong in the toilet of my mind, and I throw them in there and hit flush. And that's an odd way to put it, but to me, that was always the best way, because this is where those thoughts belong. This is where the negative thoughts belong. They belong in the toilet. Put them there. And then distract yourself and think of something good. Because in Proverbs, Paul tells us to think on everything that is, and please, this is not quoted, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not good at memorizing the Bible, but, on everything that is good, pure, true, lovely, kind, of good report. And if you're not thinking on those things, then it's real easy for the anxiety to take over. And so that has become my life verse. And he's very much, he tells you to depend on God, then turn around and distract yourself with things that are lovely, good, pure, true, and of good report. And so I think that's when I look at books, and that's when I force myself to think of good things. And I use my planner all the time. I put stickers on my planner that are constantly putting positive thoughts in my head. And so what you put in is what you're going to get out. And so I have to be careful what I watch and what I do. So if I put garbage in, I'm going to get garbage out. So I have to be really careful what I'm watching, what I'm reading, what I'm thinking about. And so if something starts to bother me, I have to turn it off or put the book down or whatever, and then find something positive, good, lovely, and read that or watch that or something. And so I have to control my own mind. You have to really train your own thought life to deal with anxiety. And that's how I've learned to deal with anxiety a lot, and still learning every day. I think it is a lifelong process, and it will continue to be. It's not going to go away. It's not curable, and you can look this up on WebMD or the Psychological Association, I think. Don't quote me on that one, but yeah, it is a chronic illness, and I deal with it. Okay, the next time chronic illness entered our house, yes, it did it again. It was in 2012. My husband went kayaking, and he went over a rock in the kayak and landed on his butt, and really hard, to the point that it just never really healed. And honestly, this didn't surprise me that it didn't heal, because this was a pattern that had been going on since I've known him, and I have known my husband since he was 15 years old. And when he hurts something, it never heals. It just is a problem. He's had several injuries as a kid. He was a skateboarder, a tree climber. He was active as a kid and had a lot of energy, lot of injuries from a lot of the things he did. And those things just never really healed up. And so, it was, now that we have a diagnosis, now that we've gone through this in our adult life, I can look back and look at his teenage years, and it really starts to make sense that this was something that was going on, but at a minor level. And that accident seemed to really trigger an explosion of chronic pain numbness in his hands, which he had even in his 20s, numbness in his hands, looking at my notes, sorry. Um, and just a lot of different, mainly, it's just a lot of pain, a lot of fatigue. He can't sit for too long, he can't walk for too long. Um, it's a lot of blending things, and the pain is bad. And we've not found a ton of things that help. Uh, Struggling with, all the doctors have to offer you are opioids, and we're really hoping soon that THC oil is going to be a reality and hopefully a helpful thing. And here in Georgia, it has been legalized, and fibromyalgia has been added to the medical list. So we're actually working towards that goal right now, and really hoping for it. And but it's made life very difficult. It's changed our lives. I mean, just completely 180 of the things that we could do that we couldn't do. He can't sit through a movie. Good thing we really never went to the movies anyway. We went like once every other year. He can't really go hiking, or anything that requires a lot of standing and stuff. I mean, it's just we really have to do things that mix up, and so honestly, we do a lot of just staying at home, and hanging out in the backyard, where he can sit for a while, or split some wood and throw it. We have a lot of bonfires and do things like that because there's just not that much. We really enjoy our animals and watch them because, speaking of animals, this is Sadie. Say hi. Say hi. The animals are a huge, huge comfort. And by 2013, he was officially diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And he's had people tell him it was in his head, and I'm talking doctors. The doctors were rude, crazy rude. I have really wanted to go postal on some doctors in this time, and I spent a lot of time going with him to the doctors to make sure that they, to be his advocate so that they knew he was telling the truth. He's not making this up. This is not, this is not something where he's not just looking for pain meds. And it's really hard because there are a lot of people out there who are looking for pain meds. And so if you take any kind of controlled substance pain meds, you are automatically treated as a criminal. And that's difficult to deal with, especially when you are a law-abiding person who is trying to do everything right. That's really difficult. Dealing with the doctors. I could go on and on about them, and I probably and I shouldn't. I think we're really starting to get a handle on living with fibromyalgia, and it's been a while. That's been 5 years. We're just now starting to get a handle on it. It was hard, to deal with with a debilitating disease at 36, when he was diagnosed. And, it just kind of stopped you in your tracks. The other side of this, before I go to that, let me go. Another time, we have recently, a new chronic illness has entered our home, and this time it's me again. But I had in October, and there will be a post coming up about that. I mentioned it in a post that was actually filmed in October, but I have yet to be able to put it up. Hopefully, it will get up soon. And it was in that post I was talking about. I've been sick since October. I started October out. It was the first week in October, and I started it out as my first. It was my fall cleaning week, and so first day, I had the kids helping me. We pulled all the pictures off the wall. We started moving the furniture. We started washing walls. And we got about halfway through it. And I'm sorry for any guys who are watching this. I have no other way to say it, but my cycle hit. And I've always had bad cycles. Really bad cramps. Felt like I have the flu. Just, I cannot, never, I mean, since I was 16 years old, I have planned around my periods because they were so bad. I could not do anything with, I really could not do anything. The pain was so bad. And we're talking, I guess, the way I explain the pain is to women who have had babies, they understand this is right where you would ask for the epidural. It's basically right before you transition into that second stage of labor, and you're getting to the point that you can't finish a sentence because of the pain, and you're breathing through it. It gets that bad, and I don't know what happened, but that cycle started, and even though it did do its thing and it quit, the pain changed from cramps to a mixture of really bad aches to stabs. And for October, I could not even turn over in bed without horrible pain. I could not walk hardly. It was like walking to the room I was bent over. It was horrible. Finally, I got to a doctor, talked to them, and they're going, this sounds like endometriosis. They gave me a shot of Depo-Provera, and I did see, enough of a difference that I could get out of bed. But I really haven't been able to go anywhere. Going to stores or something like that, walking very much, it will kick in. If I lift something that weighs more than the dog I just showed you, she's 11 pounds. If I pick up anything, if I vacuum, if I do the dishes, there's a lot of stuff. If I do it, I'm going to pay for it for 3 days afterwards. If I go somewhere and ride on a road that's really bumpy, I will pay for that for days. And sometimes it really doesn't matter. I haven't seen, that there's no rhyme or reason. It just happens. And the pain is excruciating. And then sometimes it's not excruciating. Sometimes it's like a pain scale 2. And of course, to me, pain scale 10 is giving birth when the epidural did not work and you had an attached placenta. That was 10. And so when I get to 3 or 4, I'm hurting bad because 10 is like, it's just off the charts, really. As far as the worst pain I've ever felt, And so, to me, if I get to 4 or 5, I'm in drastic pain. And so this is where I've been since October. I'm working on month number 5. We decided in November to do surgery. And they didn't have a surgery date until February the 20th. That is, as of this recording, that is 18 days away, and I am counting down. And it's really weird to be counting down to surgery, but I really want relief. I want my life back. And all. And so life has been, come to a screeching halt in the last few months. The other side of chronic illness, in dealing with chronic illness, is that it is financially a big strain. So people, my husband has a good job, and people are, why do you not, why can't you afford that? Why does your house look, why do you have Goodwill furniture? Why do you shop at thrift stores? Well, we have lots of medical bills. They are very tall. We work on them constantly. We have co-pays. We pay insurance through the company. We also we have a certain amount of money that comes out every month for a medical savings plan. We pay co-pays. We pay for prescriptions, which are a lot between, there are asthma medications that if it weren't for insurance would be over $300. My daughter's maintenance inhaler. And my husband's on 6 prescriptions, I think. I'm on 5 between endometriosis and anxiety and acid reflux. And so, once again, life's different. Um, the fact that we don't have the energy level that other people have. So, things around our house are not, definitely not better homes and gardens, you know. And my Christmas tree, today is February the 3rd. My Christmas tree is undecorated, still standing in the living room. I'm waiting for my husband to have energy and my son to be home from work long enough that they can put it in the attic. You know, there's laundry sitting around. There's dishes piled up, crock pots that needed cleaning. We have been eating frozen stuff. That kind of goes in. We're still living in that trying to live while mom is sick thing, and kind of hoping my husband brings me home something today for lunch. He's out, hoping he'll bring home lunch. Yeah, so it's a lot of people do not understand when they walk in your house, and things aren't perfect. You know, and it's not better homes and gardens. You know, you don't have granite countertops. You know, they don't understand. Excuse you, that's coughing from my silky terrier. This is Sadie, my silky terrier, my best little bud. She's fun, and she is a mean mouser. If she finds anything that is even remotely rodent-like, she will be after it. That's an aside from this. This video is getting way too long. I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, people don't understand that. So you know, we just really have to do things on our own time scale, and we slow things down. It is like a Mayberry sort of lifestyle around here, which really has not been bad. I really like the fact we say no a lot to a lot of things, and once again, people don't understand why can't you come to that, you know, and they don't understand you're tired, or that, you know, if you do this on Saturday or Sunday, you might not be able to make work on Monday. So we have to choose, and we have to prioritize, and so, you know, I mean, sometimes simply going to church is really difficult, and we miss, and we hate to, but, you know, like, we can't do Sunday school and church. My husband cannot sit through it. Right now, I can't do a lot of sitting up straight, and I have to do that in really small increments because of the pelvic pain of the endometriosis. So sitting for an hour during church would be excruciating. It would be very painful. And so I haven't been to church in a long time. So, I mean, you know, any activities as simple as birthday parties or whatever, you know, they all take energy. And we have to budget our energy. And so I guess the last thing I want to touch on is going back to the asthma a little bit, and asking people to understand chronic illnesses, but especially like asthma. People who have asthma is an autoimmune disorder, which means your immune system is really not working correctly. And so for my daughter, what is for me a cold, or for anybody else, is the sniffles. For her, it can be pneumonia. And I have had more times that she's had pneumonia because someone came to an event sick. So if you're sick, think about that. Take a little Mayberry. Take a little day off. It doesn't hurt to take a day off. The world is not going to stop. It really doesn't. And honestly, it could save lives. There are, when you think of children with cystic fibrosis, this is huge. Cystic fibrosis and viruses do not get along well. And it is life or death. And it can be life or death for asthmatics. The more times my daughter has pneumonia, the more times she gets scar tissue on her lungs every time. And that can lead to COPD as she gets older. So this is not a little thing for us. This is huge. And so trying to give her a normal life is really difficult when people are coming to events with the flu. You know, and I mean, there's times you don't know you have it. You showed up and you really didn't know you had it, and then the next day you get sick, and that just happens, and you can't help that. But when you know you're sick, you're running a fever, or you puked this morning, you need to stay home for your own health and for the health of others. And I guess that's sort of my rant on on chronic illness. I don't know. I hope I've given a better picture of what it's like to live that way. It's not all bad, though. We've learned a lot about just looking for the positives in life and simplifying life. I have done a lot of decluttering to make cleaning easier, and just a lot of saying no to things and finding simple things to do, and realizing that, you know, even if I can't go somewhere, life is still going on, and it's still happening, and it's fine. And I've really learned to enjoy being home. I enjoy my animals. I enjoy the woods that surround my house. And, you know, so if you're struggling with chronic illness, I don't know, I hope this at least tells you you're not the only one. And I hope this explains to those of you who don't have it, if you can kind of understand us a little better, and understand why our grass isn't cut, you know. I don't know. I really hope this is encouraging and informative. And if you liked this video, please hit the like button. And I'd be just tickled to pieces if you hit that little subscribe button, and the bell would make me even happier. And I hope y'all have a good day. See y'all later.